Hey, I'm General Motors Jeff, and right behind me, this is the all-new 2025 Chevrolet Tahoe RST Performance Edition. Let's go. All right, so for the model year 2025, Chevrolet decided to give a refresh, a little bit of a redesign to the Tahoe and Suburban lineup. And what we're looking at right now, as I mentioned, is the 2025 Chevrolet Tahoe RST, but it's not just a regular RST, it's the Performance Edition. But before we get to what makes the Performance Edition different, let's just talk about some of the changes they made to the 2025 in general. And first and foremost, if you're familiar with the Tahoe or the Suburban at all, you can tell that they've changed the front grille, the front headlights. Basically, the front fascia is different this year. I think it's great looking. It's not too much of a deviance where it's so polar opposite than the other one. You might just absolutely hate it or absolutely love it. But what I like is it's enough of a change that if you're getting into a newer model, it's refreshed is exactly the name of it. So first and foremost, on the RST, of course, you're going to see it does have the black grille, the gloss black grille with the black bow tie and some more black accents. But that is the front end in terms of how they've changed the overall design of the front. So around the back here, the taillights are different than the previous generation. They've actually made them look a bit wider, although the space is still the same. And of course, we have that clear taillight, that sportier look that, obviously fits itself with the RST Performance Edition. Along the back, you're going to see it keeps that gloss black look here, the gloss black look on here, and of course the black bow tie and the black badging as well of the Tahoe. And we have the quad tip exhaust because underneath the hood of this right now, well, listen, let's head there and I'm going to tell you about that. All right, so underneath the hood is where some of the magic happens in terms of the changes that the RST Performance package has. So it starts with the 6.2 liter that we're used to, in the Tahoes, the Suburbans, the Silverados, and so on. But what they've added is a couple other things to the Performance Edition. First and foremost, right here, we have the GM Performance induction system right here. Not to mention, as we just saw back with the quad tip exhaust, we also have the GM Performance or the Chevrolet Performance exhaust as well, which is giving this vehicle touching on close to 440 horsepower and over 460 pound-feet of torque. All right, so next we got some other things to talk about in terms of what's different with the Performance Edition, and that is right here. We have a gloss black 20-inch wheel, but it's the tires that are different. These are performance tires. What they've basically done with this, this Performance Edition is base it off the Chevrolet Tahoe PPV vehicle. By the way, if you didn't know this, we're talking performance. We have fighter jets literally flying above our heads right now, the ultimate performance. But getting back to what we're talking about here, we have 20-inch wheels on this, but in behind here, if you can see, we have the red calipered Brembo brakes, which again are something you're going to need with this, faster vehicle and again a heavier vehicle. So we have the Brembo performance brakes in the red, the torch red color, 20-inch wheels, the Firestone Firehawk tires, which again are going to give you better performance, better grip, better stopping as well. There's some other things they've done as well. Suspension-wise, basically, it's a police spec chassis, and they've got different springs, dampeners, and a stabilizer bar in this as well. All that being said, they also have changed the calibration of the steering to match up with the with the PPV calibration as well. And then, of course, we got some nice interior in this as well. Inside right now, what we have is we have the captain's chair in the second row. We have a bench third row. Unfortunately, we haven't folded down for all of our equipment right now, but it also goes to show the amount of storage that this vehicle has. So we're having 7 passengers as the front row is also the captain's chairs, or not captain's chairs, but bucket seats, of course. And speaking of the front row, I think that's where we should go next so we can talk about the all-new screens that are in this new Tahoe. Never did we really think that, fighter jets were going to be a blooper in this video, but here we are. All right, so now I am sitting in the cockpit. And I want to use that word because of all the fighter jets flying around. I want to feel cool, but no, it really is a cockpit. And part of the reason why I say that is with the redesign of this, of course, we have a newly redesigned screen, a 17.7-inch color touchscreen, of course, color, in the middle of us. And then we also over here have an 11-inch programmable screen in front of the driver where you can have all sorts of information, the information that you want in front of your eyes right there. The cool part and why I say cockpit as well, though, is because they've kind of canted this over. The screen has been canted over towards the driver to make it feel like it's, you're kind of wrapped in this kind of cockpit, right? Much like we're seeing in the Corvettes. The Corvette actually has that canted a little more, but it's got that idea to it. But again, beautiful 17.7-inch screen. We have tons of camera views in this, of course, as well. Surround vision when we're in this vehicle, especially one of this trim level. Rear park assist. The other cool thing is we have this here, which, watch this. Hey Google, what's the temperature outside right now?
The current temperature in Fort Worth is 80 degrees.
perfect temperature, perfect weather. But speaking of perfect, it is perfect because you now have that feature and the features of the maps and everything as well. So your integrated navigation with Google, free for 8 years when you buy the vehicle. All that being said, for somebody who don't want to use the Google aspects, you just still have the retention of the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, unlike some, of course, GM's EV vehicles, which have unfortunately gone away from that for those of you who like it. It is something that to get used to, but it's something I've actually gotten used to, and I really like it. We have separate climate control for driver passenger, and we still have some manual buttons down here, especially for the HVAC controls. The other thing is we have a new shifter in this now. So gone away are the button shifters that we used to have before. Now we have the shifter that we're seeing in basically all the new EVs, all the new Chevy vehicles, really, for that matter, SUV-wise, that is for sure. We also have a little redesign on the dash itself. So the dash itself is kind of pushed back. It's not as high, it's kind of lowered down. The reason for that is we don't have as high of a screen anymore. So they're able to make this, although it's the same size, same dimensions, but it's to make it feel more wide open. Up here, of course, we still have, not still, but we have in this vehicle, the rear vision camera mirror, which I absolutely love. You can adjust the height of it, you can adjust the zoom in and out, and the brightness, whether it's day or night, all done on these buttons here. And the cool part about it, again, if you don't like that aspect to it, but maybe your partner does, when you're in the vehicle, you can just flip it over and there you go. You're back to your regular mirror, which I really like that feature. Again, total customization in front of the driver here. I love the amount of space you got here. We have wireless charging down in here. Of course, tons of space in this. But what's really cool is in the RST Performance Edition and in the higher trim levels, we have the movable armrest. What's cool about that is there's now storage underneath here that's hidden behind. So when you shut the vehicle off and you leave and this is pushed back over, nobody can get in or see what you have there. Not to mention, the cool part about this is your rear passengers now have a set of additional cup holders. I haven't pushed it all the way back because obviously the camera's back there, but this will go back even a little further. And it's really, again, it's done with power. So when the vehicle's off, that will not open. So if somebody breaks in the vehicle, first of all, A, they might not know that's there. B, they're not going to get in there very easily. Heated seats, of course, separate climate control. We have all of those creature comforts in this vehicle. Unfortunately, no panel sunroof in this one at the moment, but that's okay. Lastly, I want to talk quickly. We do have the heads-up display in this one. The head-up display, you actually can control from here on the screen now, which is right there, and you can adjust the height of it, the rotation, the brightness, and so on. I've always been a fan of the heads-up display. It's a really easy thing to see, so you're not always having to concentrate right down here. You can actually also, as a heads-up, bring your navigation from this screen over to the screen in front of the driver as well, so that way you can have radio over here and navigation in front of yourself there. Lots of cool features, and of course, very comfortable seats. These are the leather seating with the red stitching throughout this, as well as kind of like a grade, half gloss design we have in this, which is different amongst every trim level. But that's really the things I'm noticing so far, the changes inside of the 2025 RST Performance. So overall, what I have to say is I'm very impressed with what Chevrolet has done with the new refresh of the 2025 Chevrolet Tahoe. And of course, I love the additions that the RST Performance Edition brings. But all that being said, I'm very curious, is the Performance Edition something you'd be interested in? Or would you be more apt to just getting one of the other trim levels? Comment below with what you think. These Jets.